Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, everybody. This is Sunshine Lady Q, your girl, your friend, your hugger, spiritually and naturally, where you can expect to feel not just a warm embrace, but a safe embrace. We're going to journey this thing together on Heavenly Hugs Radio Moment, naturally and spiritually. You can expect to be empowered. You can expect to be encouraged. You can expect to be lifted up. You can expect to be pushed to where you belong. We're going to journey this life together. We're going to heal heart, mind, through a spiritual hug through the radio waves. Hello, and thank you for joining Sunshine Lady Q, Chopping It Up with Dad still. This will be our last week of Chopping It Up with Dad, and I have my very own Mr. Terrell McMillan on here with me. He my sunshine boo, y'all, but that's my sister man. That's my sunshine boo. But I really thank God that he was able to take out time of his very busy schedule to chill out with me today. So if you would, Terrell, please greet the people.
Hi, how are y'all? How are you? How are you guys doing?
All right, good. All right, so we're just gonna dive right on in. How many children do you have?
I got two.
Two children.
Two boys.
Okay. Two boys. Okay. How was it when your first son was born? How did it change your life?
How did it change my life?
Yes.
Well, when I had my first son, I was 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Joined the Marine Corps, so that definitely, at the end of the day, he made me a better person because I was in the streets doing all kind of crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I slowed down drastically just because he was born, because I didn't want to be a dad that be talking to his son through some bars, or that person that, in a graveyard somewhere. So I definitely slowed down a lot. Definitely.
That's good. So if you would tell me how did you feel about the second son when you were told or you was given the news that my sister
Totally unexpected. Totally unexpected. I didn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it at the time because I was going through so much in my own personal life that I really, in my head, I wasn't ready to have another child.
Of course.
So, like when I got told the information, I was like, no, we got to do this again. So we did it like 3 or 4 times for confirmation, but each time, he was on his way. He definitely. Yeah, definitely. So it wasn't no stopping it then.
So how many pregnancy tests was it?
Like 4. Definitely like 4.
4 pregnancy tests. Wow. Okay, so if you would, you already told us when you became a father. What do you enjoy most about being a father?
What I enjoy most?
Yes. What do you enjoy most about being a father?
Looking at them grow up. That's got to be the most exciting thing.
Okay.
From the time he was born to now, I got a terrorist now. And now, when he first was born, he was a sweet little arm thing. Like, he's just precious. Now he just, you're a lot.
Thank you. I'm glad you changed that.
You're a lot.
I'm glad you changed that. Do you think fathers have things harder or easier than you did or when you was younger? Looking at dads now and looking at dads then, do you feel like it's harder or do you feel like it is easier?
For dads now, I definitely say it's easier. A whole lot easier.
You think? Okay.
Back when I got was coming along, yeah. There's so many ways to make money now. When it comes to providing, the providing part, I think it's a lot more easier because it's way more ways. We got technology now, so
yeah.
And that's my opinion.
Okay. Well, that's cool. So I'm glad that you said something about a provider. So now, y'all forgive me for looking down, but my notes are here. So one thing I did pick up, or I did see as I was doing research, because our Chopping up with dads is probably the most different one because I don't want people to think from our previous YouTube podcast that it was always me being negative about dads. Not dads, about moms. So what we want to focus on today is just focus on dads. We're not going to talk about the baby mamas and how they act because we did that the last few weeks. We're not going to do it this time. So what I would say is, in my research, I pull up something, and it literally says this: there are 7 roles that a father plays in the life of his family. Well, in this case, we're talking about his children, and those 7 things is a provider, as you said, a protector, a leader, a teacher, a helper, an encourager, and a friend. Are there any more that you can add to that?
No, that's pretty much the gist of it. Like, I mean, even with all was 7 of those?
Yes, it was.
With all 7 of those, it's still, I mean, it's still challenging. Like you're trying to play multiple roles.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes you get like tunnel vision with just one and forget about others. But that's a hard task. That's a hard task to do. I mean, it ain't nothing about being a dad to me. Well, I want to say a father because I mean anybody can be a dad. That's just my opinion.
Okay, so tell me, if you would, what do you feel? What was the hardest moment you had as being a father, and why? Your hardest moment as being a dad or father, and why?
My hardest moment of being a dad was probably being a teacher, like what teaching them, like because I don't want to teach my kids or be a certain way with my kids. Like like my dad was to me when he was coming up, but my dad was like strict.
So tell us about your dad. We'll go back to the other part. So tell us about your dad.
Mean and surely.
Meaning what?
Mean but surely. Like it wasn't so much like he was just set in his ways. My dad was 43 years old, so by time like he always was big on education. That was his thing. But I mean, as far as being strict wise, I was sheltered. I was sheltered until I was like 13. So I couldn't leave out the yard and I couldn't do certain things that other kids were doing my age because my dad was so strict. But at the same time, I'm glad he was that strict. So, I mean, his big thing was school. At the end of the day, his big thing was school. I could pretty much do anything else I wanted to do, as long as I act a certain way in public and school and bring home good grades. I was a-okay with him. But I was, of course, I was sneaky and did other things, so that made him be. And I definitely was bad in school. So, yeah,
Not bad.
yeah, I definitely. I was a class clown.
That I can believe.
I love making people laugh. So, like, I used to get notes home, and yeah, people now would probably call it child abuse, but back then, no, it was just this. He just disciplined me a little harder than.
So how did he discipline? Because I remember hearing stories from 2 young men where they said they mom back in the day, because of course they're in their 40s now, the drop card, the extension card.
No, I didn't. I didn't get so much beat with an extension cord.
Well, that was okay.
It was more so my dad with his hands, and he had this thick leather belt, and every now and again, it made me go get a switch.
And tied up.
Well, it was just one of them. I go try to get the skinniest switch I can get, but you know, them things wrap around you. So and he used to love to get me as soon as I get out of the shower, or he would make me take off all my clothes and bend over the bath, with the tub. So yeah, he definitely, yeah. But more of the time, majority of the time is with his hands, like because he slapped me upside my head a lot. So Like,
Wow.
I mean, but I mean, as I got older, I wish he would have done it more, to be honest. Like, because
And I was about to say, now I understand why you so mean to my nephew.
yeah, yeah. But to be honest with you, I was a little more harder on my first son than I am with Messiah, like your nephew, because yeah. But
I
I had
mean,
to learn. I've learned from my mistakes with my first son. My first
okay.
son was like trial and error. Like the things I do with my first son, I don't do with Messiah now. Like I still fuss at him and yell at him because he do certain things that I don't approve of. But it's a means to an end. At the end of the day, by the time he get like 7 or 6, I ain't even gonna have to do none of that. It's just he'll already know it's programmed in his head. Like he know what his dad like, what his dad just like. So he ain't gonna even test the waters like that. So that's the ultimate goal for it. Like honestly, that's the ultimate goal for why I'm so hard on him. And honestly, with my first son, I was a lot harder. And by the time he was like 6 or 7, I just had to look at him or say something to him one time and he chill out. Like he already knew, like my dad ain't playing me, so let me chill out. And that's the overall result that I want.
Okay. So being that, because I don't think nobody else really had this except you. So being that with you and my sister being together, and she's having an older child, but that child is not an adult. That child is 13. How does that play out for you as being, because I know he considers you as Terrell. You know, they pick at you and say Sunshine Boo, I'm sure. But I know he likes to hang out with you. So how do dads that not the father or the birth father should deal with that child or those children?
How he should deal with them?
Mhm.
Me personally, on a personal level, like I don't like. I'm not a person that like to discipline other people's kids, and I to me, in my opinion, I don't want to take away from his dad. So like I kind of stay in like the friend zone, but still give like good guidance if it makes sense. Like I'm not going to teach him nothing wrong, but when it comes to like discipline, I'm like I'll tell his mom what I don't appreciate, and if it's like overbearing, then I'll be like, you need to tell his dad to talk to me because I don't want to. To me, I'm not in the right place to be like to do that. I wouldn't feel right. It wouldn't just sit right with me. Like back in the day, people used to take other people's kids, and nobody had a problem with it. But I'm not. It's a new age. It's 2020. No, we can't do that. We can't do that. I mean, like, yeah, give his dad an opportunity. I don't want to take nothing away from nobody else, unless I can see if, in this case, like his dad a part of his life. So I definitely, overstep my boundaries, and I just give him guidance and like try to be his best friend. Like, I mean, because at that age when I was 13 years old, I wanted my dad to be my friend because I grew up in a single parent home, and he was just straight. Like, so I ended up building a hatred for my dad, if it makes sense.
Wow.
He was just mean, just all the time. And instead of that person that I needed somebody to talk to or some guidance on like what I should do, he wasn't doing that. He was just, I felt like I got more love in the streets from my friends that I hung around than my own. Wow. So I was quick to tell them more stuff than I would my dad, which, yeah, it sucks. But I mean, that's why I say, I mean, I take the things that happen to me and I take the good and the bad. And I just like a.
So let me ask you this.
Please let me say something. I know I said I wasn't gonna come here, but I got to. I'm in the house with all this testosterone, and they literally be tag teaming me. Terrell be like, "You don't gotta treat that boy like that. You don't got to say that." Him and Bryce, he'll say that in front of Bryce. They be tag teaming me, but then I think about it, and I'm like, "Well, okay, he a man. He should know." Blah blah blah. So he does like provide me some guidance, even though he is not Bryce's father. he provided me guidance and perspective from a male, because I'm quick to say, I'm just a woman. I can only raise a woman. I can do the best that I can with a boy. I can't raise him to be a man.
That is true. That is very true.
So
I mean, and that's what men do. We like antagonize moms, like absolutely, especially when you got 3 boys in the house. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And just to let you all know, that is my sister. She's not gonna physically show her face, but you hear her voice. That's my rock. That's my homie right there. But eventually, y'all will see her on here sooner or later. I do know I'm gonna do a series on the power of saying no, and I tell you now, just to go a sidebar, she has the gift and the, I don't know the other word I want to use, but she has the gift of saying no and don't even care about it. So I think I want her to be part of that particular series, is the power of saying no.
yeah, you say no to other people, you say yes to yourself.
Exactly. So, okay, Sunshine Boo, what traditions did your father have, if any, that you want to pass on to your children?
Traditions. I can't say a tradition. Well, my dad loved baseball, sports,
Mhm.
sports. So I'm gonna say like that's gonna be my big thing with
Mhm.
he get like soon as he able to start running and get a little over like 5, I'm putting him in sports.
He
Like
running now.
yeah, like he running down, but I'm saying like when he's able to join the league, like rec and all of that, I'm getting him into it, like to keep his mind occupied because I want to see where his talent's at. And
Exactly.
my dad was talented at all the sports that he played. I always looked at my dad play baseball. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that was the only sport I actually see him play. I for like baseball, but when it came to me, I was well rounded. So, and I assume I got that from my dad, but my mom, yeah.
So I'm gonna back up just a moment when you was talking about how strict your dad was and how you felt more love out in the streets than you did from your own father. So let me ask you this: was his dad in his life?
Yes, yes.
Did his
But
dad teach him how to be a dad?
well, this is during that. My dad was born in 43.
Uh-huh.
So we're talking about an era where my dad didn't finish high school. My dad dropped out of school in 8th grade because
Mm-hmm.
they had to work fields.
Mm-hmm.
And his dad was like way stricter than him. Like, and I mean, granted, talking to my sister, race, yeah, like,
Say
but
that
by the
again
time I
because
was,
you froze up.
I'm sorry. Like when it comes to like my dad talking to my siblings that my dad raised, like they had it a way a lot harder than I had it. Like
Wow.
definitely had it a lot harder. I mean, I could think of a time where my brother and sister were stealing something, and like my dad got wind of it. He came home, he turned the eye on high, and just like held a hand, like not touching the eye, but like right above it for like 5 minutes. Like, but at the end of the day, they never stole nothing again. So I mean,
Wow.
and I can remember my dad telling me stories where his dad would tie him up in the barn and just beat him, like just beat him. And my dad came from a family that was like 12 of them. So, and the girls, the same thing with the girls and the boys. There wasn't no favoritism or nothing like that. It just, like I said, by the time I came along, my dad was 43. He's a lot older. Like instead of like my brother when he had my brother at the age of 20. So,
Mm-hmm.
and they twins, and they used to tell me horrifying stories. I'm like, oh God. They were like, yeah, so you need to be grateful, man. And I'm like, grateful? What? I want to call the police. Like, like this is crazy. I mean, it is what it is. That what I get from growing up in a single parent home. Like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and to be
And,
honest,
and I will also say is, if maybe because your grandfather
mm-hmm.
didn't show love to him the way he should have show love to him, and he was very strict on him. Work hard, go to school, however, whatever. So it trickled down to your dad. So therefore, he was the same way on you.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, but if you ask me now today versus when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
my dad did show me love. It was the love he showed me in his way.
The way
Not
he knew how.
exactly. Like, and to me, I couldn't ask for a better dad,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, because I know a lot of kids my age, boys, a lot of kids my age that's either dead or in somebody penitentiary. So I mean,
Exactly.
thank God I ain't now one of them. And I think that's because of how hard my dad used to, be on me. He's
Okay.
always telling me, you go to jail, you gonna stay in it. Because I done preaching, tell you and tell you and tell you. Hard, you got a hard head, so you're gonna stay in that. I'm like, so if I go to jail, I'm gonna stay in there? Oh no, we can't do that. We ain't playing them games. And it just stuck with me. It
Well,
stuck with
I can honestly say that I had to prove that to my son that I was done and I couldn't do it anymore. You know, because
I
when
mean,
he,
boys are tennis.
but granted,
we knuckleheads.
I
Like,
think I thank the Lord, I really do, because he never got into any trouble to that extent
hmm,
until the age of 29.
I mean,
But
but
even but even still, I wasn't going to give him.
you right. You right. I mean,
I compared it to Lazarus. Lazarus was dead. He was dead for 3 days. On the fourth day, the Lord came and spoke life into him. He spent 3 nights and 4 days in jail.
I understand. I understand. But I think he learned his lesson. I mean, we boys and boys have a harder head than girls. I mean,
Yes,
we
they
it's
do.
a lot longer for us to get it than females. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so why don't you tell me when you was a teenager growing up, other than your dad, did you have a mentor? Did you have anyone that you look up to? And who was that person?
mm, no, I didn't.
Okay.
Just being completely honest. Like my dad was my Superman. That's all I knew. Like I said, I was young and dumb and naive at the time because I
Uh-huh.
was a child. Like I didn't understand. I
But
mean,
you obviously been in my notes.
I wouldn't
And,
even know.
and the reason I said it is one of the things I saw was a dad is a child's first hero.
Absolutely, absolutely. At that age,
Mhm,
even to this day, like I wanted to be like my dad. Like
mhm,
definitely. I mean, even now, if I can be half the man he was,
uh-huh,
I'll be doing good. I'll definitely be doing good. I'm like my dad didn't smoke or drink or like all I seen him do was work and come home
mhm,
and like provide, like even for my siblings.
mhm,
Even though they wasn't in the house with me because they was much older,
mhm.
but all he ever did was take care of his kids and work and just play sports. That was my dad all day. And I was like, man, I definitely want to be like, because he always had money. He always had money. That's my dad. He was just
Okay.
for
All
some
right.
reason couldn't
And
get
I
it.
think we already covered this one, but it also says a dad is someone who will always protect you. Talk about that.
Yes, protect me. Now, see, here's the thing. Now, my childhood is a little different from anybody else's childhood. My dad was so mean. So by the time I was 15, uh, what older people would say, that boy's feeling himself. He's smelling himself.
Mhm,
So I kind of like at this age, my dad, I was taller than my dad. My dad was 5'11". So by that time, about 15, I was like 6 feet tall. And like my dad probably pretty much couldn't do nothing to me that he not had already done that would hurt me pretty much. Like, so it's to the point that at that age, he was like, look, you got to get out. Like, it's time for you to go. Either I'm gonna kill you or you kill me. And I was like, Wow.
Wow.
I mean, I can tell you a time where my dad did some violent stuff to me, but like I said, I don't want nobody to be judging my dad or not. But it's nothing he could have did at that point.
Yeah.
So I went. By that time, I went to stay with my mom. But he was always there to give me guidance, and
Mm-hmm.
like my mom would call him on certain things and be like, "You need to talk to your son because your
Mm-hmm.
son is getting a little out of hand."
Mm-hmm.
And just because how he was when I was younger, he still put the fear of God in me at that age. Like
Uh-huh.
even though at that age I was feel like I could try him and I could probably
Mm-hmm.
beat him up, but
Mm-hmm.
just me being an adolescent and like, no, I'm being stupid. You cannot beat your dad. Like it was still Superman. Like it ain't happening. So
Okay.
that's how I feel about it.
And it's not that you're bad talking your dad, and I don't think anybody taking it like that, because again, you have to remember he only did what he saw and what was done to him.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
understand what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you see more of the good in your father than you did in the bad. So that more than balanced that out.
I mean, and to be honest, like if you ask anybody who know me, they be like, I'm just like him. I'm just like him. But like I said, I've taken some of the bad and
Good.
not implemented to the kids that I have now.
Mm-hmm.
And the good, I just pass it on, like, but do a different way. Like I'm still big on school, so when my son get over age, I mean, my 16, got a 16-year-old son. Like I was big on school with him, like, but if it wasn't nothing dealing with school and they did something crazy, I didn't care. Like you could play in the house, scream in the house, bounce the basketball. See, I could do all that. With moms, when his mom used to be like, "Hey, stop doing all that." I'm like, "He ain't doing. He ain't hurting nobody. Like, let him do what he doing." But that was just because how I was raised. Like I was just big on school, and that's one of my pet peeves is school and acting like you got sense in public. Other than that,
Okay.
I pretty much don't care. Like I'm pretty laid back, chill.
All right. So what do you have to say about this one? A dad is someone who hides his pain to make his child or children smile.
Yes, I do that a lot, even now. Like if I don't want my son to see what I'm going through
Mm-hmm.
because you know what I'm saying. Like I'm Superman to him. Like he a daddy's boy, especially my youngest son. He definitely a daddy's boy, and I assume he look at me like Superman because that's what his mom tell me. But like I don't cry. I try my hardest not to cry around him because I mean me and cry in the dark. I don't care what nobody say. We cry in the dark. We don't let nobody see it. We play the tough role.
Yeah, of
But at,
course.
but at the end of the day, I mean, I'm tough on the outside, but I'm soft in the middle. If it makes sense. Like
Yeah, it does.
I go around here or stump my toe or slam my finger or something, and I'll be like, ah. And then I don't do it too long right in front of him. I'm like, that hurt. But like if he's doing something like I don't like whining. I'm not a huge fan of that. I hate whining. And that he a boy, I definitely don't like him. So I let him whine for a little bit, but then I'll be like, hey, chill out. It drives me crazy. Because my dad didn't let me whine. Like, especially if it's something I did and I'm getting disciplined for it. Like, what are you crying for? Like, I done gave you so many warnings. So when you get the punishment, don't need to cry now. Take it like a man. But so dry it up, pretty much. That was it, like dry it up.
Yeah, yeah. And even though I know this one does not um refer to you, but I'm still going to read it. It says a dad is someone who is the first Prince Charming in every girl's life. Shelly, are you still there?
I am still here.
I'm gonna say, can I say this?
Yes.
Now, biologically, I only got 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
But if you ask me, like I should have said it from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But I was being completely honest with myself. But at the same time, with my first marriage, I'm not the father of the girl,
Mm-hmm.
but I raised her since she was like 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's a true statement. Like, because I was mean to her, but at the same time, I show her how like a man should treat a female.
And I think it's very important.
Yes, yes, yes. And like I didn't argue with it like their mom in front of her or nothing like that. So because as you get old, you want somebody to treat your daughter better than you do as a man, as a father. If you're not gonna take my role and do it better, then just leave my child where she at. Like, period.
Exactly.
Especially girls, because I mean, daddy love their girls. I mean, we love our boys too, but it's just something about girls. Like, yes,
Yes, sir.
it was my baby. That's my baby. And she's 21 now, and like she got her reason of being mad with me, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, I talking to her mom, she like, that girl act just like you. Like she got your ways.
Wow.
And she definitely like the things I've taught her about. I've always been straightforward with her. Like I didn't, like when it came to body parts and talking sexual things like that, I never cut no corners. I just gave it to her straightforward. And I think that pretty much she did good. She actually was 20 years old before she had her first child. So in my head, she did real good.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
I did my job as a dad. That when I took it like that.
So Shelly, chime in.
Can you repeat the question, please?
What are your thoughts on a dad is someone who is the first Prince Charming in every girl's life?
I agree to that 100%. My dad was not perfect, but my daddy always used to bring us little stuff home when he go out the house. He come back, he bring us some little Tootsie Roll Pops, or he take us to the park. And I mean, he would always just do small things. And even now, as an adult woman, I think that shows thoughtfulness. It shows that you're thinking about someone that you love, even when they're not in your presence. So I definitely agree that a dad is a girl's first Prince Charming.
Okay.
And then even the negative things about your father, once you date that in your spouse and you get a chance to reset, you try not to go back to it.
For real. So, and then it goes on to say, a dad is someone whose love never ends.
That is a true
statement.
Yeah. Very true statement.
Yeah, I agree with that.
My kids if I'm living and I can be 89 or 90 years old, I'm still gonna love my kids the same way. Like they're my babies forever.
Exactly.
Being a dad, I mean that's an endless job. I mean, that's a lifetime commitment. It really is. So just because you're grown, I'm not gonna stop being your father. Like,
exactly.
Because I mean, you're gonna go out there and make mistakes, and it's my job to realize you're gonna make the mistakes and then make you learn from them and teach you at the same time, but still give you that brace and love. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a job. It's a lifetime commitment.
It is. A dad is someone who lives for his child or children's smile.
Yes, that light up my day to see my kids smile.
I know that's right.
Light up my day. I don't care what I can be having a horrible day, and just to see they smile, like, you know what, it ain't that bad. It could be a whole lot worse. It definitely could be a whole lot worse.
Yeah. A dad is someone who always believes in his child or children. Yes,
absolutely. That's our job, to believe in and not kill the dream. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Tell your kids they can be anything in this world that they want to be. Period. They set their mind to it, they can do it. And all dads should tell their kids that.
Yes, I agree.
That's to the daughters and the sons. Like, because I mean, they can really be anything they want to do. You just kill it in them by just telling them, nah, you can do that. Some dads, I don't say all dads, but some dads. I mean, that's just my opinion.
But a lot of times people kill that in their children because that's what their parents did to them. we can't be any better parents than our parents were unless we recognize the mistakes and consciously make an effort to correct it, or Q, if we do like our mother used to do, which was she always prayed. She would always tell us, well, I pray so that I can be a better parent.
Yep.
And she always said, I ask God to guide me in everything that I do.
Can I chime in on that? Like my
Before you chime in, now Shelly would tell you. Then again, she might disagree. Mama was much harder on me than she was on Shelly and Frida.
I would believe that.
I was much harder on Devontae than I was on Taylor.
I believe that. Because that was your first child. Definitely was your first child.
All right, I just go ahead.
The chiming, when I said the chiming part, why I wanted to chime in is like I didn't experience that with my dad. My dad wasn't the church going person. Like everything that I learned about God came from my grandma. Like that was the heart and soul to me. Like my grandma gave me, and the wisdom of God and teaching me of God. And it wasn't my dad's. My dad was just. If some people would say my dad was funny, because I mean he stayed in the house. He didn't like relatives would come knock on the door. He wouldn't even get up to go answer the door. Like he was just weird. But he was my father. Like he wasn't weird to me because I was around him my whole life.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he be like, that dude, something wrong with that dude. Something actually wrong with him. So that's my info. But that was I wanted to chime in on. Like I didn't get that luxury. My dad teaching me of God and all that stuff. So
okay. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead. You about to say something?
Yeah, but I'm gonna implement it in my kids. They got to know. They got to. They got to. They got to.
As they should. And then one of the things I saw, I can't remember which translation this was, and it says to be a father means that no matter how young or how old you are always going to be there for your kids. It doesn't mean that you always agree with them, but they know that you are there to love them and to care for them in the best and healthiest way that you know how.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because it goes back to as they know how.
Yeah, you're right. As I know how. But I mean, I'm always gonna be a listening ear. Like you said, I'm not gonna always agree with you. Like, no. If you want somebody to agree with, then you might want to talk to one of your friends. Don't come to me because I'm gonna keep it real with you. If it wasn't right, it wasn't right. I'm not gonna take your right and make it your wrong and make it right neither. If you get what I'm saying. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right.
Exactly.
Don't think because I'm your dad, like I'm gonna be on your side the whole time, because it ain't gonna work like that. It definitely ain't gonna work like that. Better go find somebody else.
And that came from momschoiceawards.com. I try to give reference to where I do pull up different things at. So now I'm going to talk about 10 qualities of a good dad. Number 1, dependability. Being there through thick and thin. This is not just being present and correct. It's about being consistently available for your kids, good times and bad times. You want to chime in on that? You don't have to.
And I'm gonna think I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave.
All right. The next one says involvement. Being personally engaged in your child's lives, interests, hopes, and dreams on a daily basis. Being curious and attentive requires you to put away your distractions for that child. And that's part of being involvement. Anything you want to chime in on that one?
Like I said at first, we playing so many roles.
Yeah.
It can be a little challenging at times. Meaning, like, I think Reverend TD Jake said this. Either I'm gonna give you time, or we have no money, or if I'm gonna make the money, you have no time. So you got to find a happy medium in between both of them. I mean, because if you there at everything your kids doing, something ain't getting paid. I ain't lying to you. I mean, because we are providers as fathers, right? So
Exactly.
some ain't getting paid. So you're not gonna catch everything.
Yeah.
It's just not possible. But you try to be those. So
You froze up. Start back over. You try to be what?
I say we try to we need to be there for the things that that matter most to them. Like you're not gonna be there for you just possibly can't. It just don't work like that. But the things that means a lot to them, i.e., a football game or a dance recital. Yes, 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 yes. I mean, and then kids just want your time anyway. So I mean,
yeah.
But as fathers, as being providers, because we play so many roles, you're just not going to be there for everything. It's not possible.
Exactly.
It's just not possible.
And the next one says compassion. Showing compassion, hope, and belief when our child needs it most. Compassion is the state of mind or attitude that really helps us feel connected and close to the human experience of being a child. And that's compassion.
Oh man!
Did my sister just give you a look of compassion?
No, I'm just thinking in my head like compassion. I said that because I didn't get no compassion, so I that's why I laugh like that. Like I think I'm a little more compassionate than my dad was than me.
Mm-hmm.
But compassion, if you want compassion, in my opinion, you might want to go to your mom. You're definitely not gonna get no compassion from me. No, 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 no. That's a mom duty to me. That's my opinion. Though. I mean, but when it comes to daughters, it's different. Now I'm talking from a dad point of view who got two boys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want that from me, you're not gonna get it. Go to your mom for that. But if it was when it came to my daughter, now that's a different story. You got to be compassionate because you're the one who teaching her how to. Like I said, a man supposed to treat a woman. So
exactly.
It's a little different. I mean, different strokes for different folks. But I didn't get that as a kid. Not
all right. So now I'm going to number 4 is valuing of mother, showing respect and love to their kid's mother. This isn't about always agreeing with the mom, but value is similar to validating that mom for who they are and their imperfections. Showing love and respect requires action, not just thoughts, and teaches our sons and daughters how to be treated. We pretty much already talked about that.
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't get that. Like I saw my mom and dad fight constantly. I can remember myself beating on the walls, yelling "stop." And they fought like cats and dogs. And
wow.
And then the crazy thing is, my mom didn't back down for my dad, and my dad didn't back down for me. So I mean, but now with me, with my son, like he see me kiss his mom and hug, and we just show affection amongst each other.
Yeah.
And he do this thing, and like in my opinion, he get jealous because he start whining like he want to kiss, he want to be loved on too. And we like to be honest with you, like he's most comfortable. Like when we are all in the bed, he got to be between us. It's not one that he go to the most. It's just like as long as he's between us, he's fine. He's fine. He's happy. That's when he's like his calmness. Like, yo, these both of my parents. Yeah. Definitely.
Well, so I'm thinking you're going to say the same thing about this one that you said about the other one, which is empathy.
Empathy.
Putting ourselves in the shoes of others enable them to feel heard, respected, and valued, even if we don't completely get it or even like it.
Well, I do empathize a lot. I really do. I can say I do that because, like your sister was telling you, like I can remember being special a boy. Like I can remember being that age, and there's certain things I wouldn't want my mom or dad to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I can feel his pain. Like, dude, I understand. So I empathize, and I'll be like, and I try to give pointers, like, okay, how can we make it better
Mm-hmm.
to his mom? Because I mean, like you said, we tend to raise our kids the way we got raised.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
sometimes us as parents, we forget we were that age at the same time too. And then, but at a certain age, you should want to be a parent, but you want to be a friend too. Like my first child, my first son, like he didn't come and talk to me about nothing because all I was straight discipline, 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 discipline. And I kind of regret that. And that's why I'm not as hard on my second son as I was in my first, because I don't want you to be to the point where you're scared to come tell me certain things because you're afraid of the reaction you're gonna get from me.
Uh-huh.
I don't need that with this son. Like so, it's a whole learning process. Like I said, I was 20, now I'm 36 years old, so that's a huge difference. Okay. I done life a little bit, and I can learn.
So, what about being verbally expressive? To clearly communicate, to uphold guidelines, being tough yet fair without belittling or being controlled.
That one I struggle with a lot. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend or act like I'm something that no, I struggle with that a lot. Like I said, I don't belittle my kids, but I say what I say what I like. I do say certain things that some might not agree with. Probably shouldn't tell your kids, but like I said, I'm not as bad as my dad, but I don't cut no corners. I just vibe. And especially if I'm upset, like definitely, you gonna feel the wrath. And you taught me this. It's power in your words, the words that you use. So now I'm a little more conscious of what I'm saying. But before, yeah, I was horrible at it. It takes time. It definitely. And then somebody have to see it and be like, look, it's better ways to do this. Like you don't have to be like that. And even with my son now, like his mom, your sister, she'll tell me like, yo, are you telling me he's 1 year old? Why would you say that? I'm like, you know what? I apologize. I won't say that again. Because that's how it got done to me. But just because that got done to me that way, that make it right. You know what I mean? Like,
and the good thing about it, and the good thing about it is to have someone with compassion and someone who's able to communicate with you to say, hey, you're not doing that right.
Yeah. I mean, and then a lot of it, I like I said, I grew up in a single parent home. I didn't but that plays a lot on how I raise my kids. Granted, I talk to my mom now, and I've always been a mama's boy, but being that she wasn't present, because my mom been the one to save me from all the butt cuttings and kept my dad from being so mean to me. She was the one be like, hey, stop, that's enough. Yeah, don't do this, don't do that. And that's kind of like how it is with my son now. Like I'm hard on him, and granted, she don't say nothing, but when I get a little too strong, going a little too hard on him, she be like, hey, she give me that look, and I already know, but like, okay, chill out. It's time for me to chill out now. So I'll tone it down a little bit. And then we tend to talk about it at the end of the night, like before we go to sleep, like, yeah, I didn't appreciate that. And I was like, okay, I got you. Well, I'll look at it. I'll try to tone it down a little bit more. Because my dad didn't care what kind of profanity he used at me. He just said what he wanted to say, and that was the end of it. And even now, she'd be like, you told him this. I was like, but I was raised as do as I say, not as I do. So you see what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm learning. It's every day is a learning process. It
It
ain't
is.
when being a parent.
Yeah.
You should learn something every day. Like it ain't easy. It ain't no easy task. Not at all. Not at all.
The next one says honesty. Teach and live by the values of honesty and integrity.
I believe that with my whole heart. I believe that with my whole heart.
Uh-huh.
I'd rather for you to tell me the truth and let me know how I'm gonna deal with it. I can accept that more than you lying to me.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, my first son, he got in trouble. He did, but he didn't lie to me about it. So when he didn't lie to me about it, like I just, I didn't fuss at him. I was just gave him a stern talk. Like I'm disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Vices him lying to me, and then I know you lying to me. That made me just want to tear his butt up and snatch him up and jack him up and do all kinds of stuff. But I mean, and honesty is the key. Like,
yeah,
set you free. It really will.
Yeah, you're right.
Do anything in this world. Just please, just don't lie to me. Just don't lie to me.
Now I know this next one because our time is winding down, but I do know this next one is part of you. Playfulness, showing delight in your children or child through fun and play. The benefits of dad's playing has been researched, particularly through the rough and tumble play. It teaches our kids to regulate their feelings and accept limits and boundaries.
Yes, I totally agree. If you ask your sister or either one of your sisters, both of them, they'll be like, yeah, Terrell is hard on Messiah. But like I play with him a lot. Like and I talk to him like, but we play a lot. And he a daddy boy. He definitely a daddy boy. And in my opinion, if I was so strict to him in his eyes, he wouldn't definitely be a daddy boy. He definitely wouldn't play with me like so as much as I can. I'm getting older now. I ain't like with my first son. I played with my first son a lot more because I was 20 years old. But now I can feel that it takes me a little minute to get off the floor. But I mean, for the most part, I'm always playing with him. To me, that's gonna let him know, like, dad ain't so mean after all. Like, you know, he do got a soft side to him, and that's what boys look for. But with my daughter, it was totally different. I didn't play with my daughter as much, just because I mean, she was a girl. How do you like? That's confusing for a dad. How do you play with your daughter? Like you're just trying to be sweet with her the whole time. Like you're trying to protect her. It's like brush off her little boo boos and whatnot. But for a boy, yeah, definitely.
All right, and the last one, and I think you've covered this. Model being industrious. Model a healthy work ethic as a source of personal accomplishment and satisfaction. This isn't necessarily associated only with work. It's a valuable attitude towards tasks in general.
Yes. Messiah got a thing like he like to throw things on the floor. No, you need to pick that up. Please pick that up. Like, because you put it down there, you need to pick it back up. Like, I'll be tired of cleaning up after for one. But I mean, just small stuff like that. Bigger things like as when he get older, like there's certain things you need to do, and you should take pride in doing it. Like love to be in my opinion, love to be a man, a boy. You're gonna grow into a man, but
exactly
enjoy it.
Well, we are almost done. We really don't have a whole lot more to cover. Is there anything else that you would like to say?
To dads? Or just in general? Like
in general, to dads, however, whatever.
Do the best you can do. Like take your negative, your upbringing, and apply it to your kid's life, but distinguish the bad from the good, like, and just be the best you can be. Like, if you can be half the parents, if you had decent parents, because I mean, ain't nobody perfect, but if you had decent parents and your parents gave you all that they could give you, love, discipline, showing you the ropes just to get through just like this thing called life. Like, it ain't easy, but we try to pass on the good things to our kids so they can be successful when they get of age. That's the most positive thing I can give to dads or parents, period. Just do the best at it, because we ain't perfect and we ain't always gonna get it right.
Nope.
But we try our best. Like, as long as you try your best and give it 110%, I think we'll be fine. Everybody will be fine.
Great.
Will be successful and pass on those traditions to their kids.
All right. Well, I truly appreciate you for chopping it up with Dad series with Sunshine Lady Q. Did you have anything else to say before I pray us out?
No, besides, I appreciate you for having me, and I love your life. That's all.
You know I had to get my sunshine on. Father, in the name of Jesus, God, we thank you for this moment. We thank you for this opportunity. We thank you for Terrell taking out his time. We ask you to bless him mentally, emotionally, socially, Lord God. Whatever he has need of, God, we ask you to bless him. Manifest those things in him right now, Lord God. And God, I also ask that you bless and be with other fathers, whatever qualities that they're missing of being a good dad, God, allow those qualities be in them, to be dependable, to be involved. Lord God, we ask you to also make certain that they know how to be compassionate, that they're valuing the mothers, that they're empathizing with their children, they're being verbally expressive and definitely not abusive, that they're knowing and letting their children know it's okay to be human, honest, playful, and how to be industrious. And God, we thank you for it. We magnify you for it. And anything that the men or the fathers are missing, Lord God, give it to them, Lord God. Allow them to come to you and say, God, teach me how to be the best dad I can be. I thank you and I love you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
Audio Jungle.